The Nancy Guthrie case is unfolding in real time, and like many high-profile legal matters, it can feel overwhelming. Headlines move quickly. Social media reacts instantly. But the legal system moves in stages, carefully, deliberately, and according to strict procedural standards. To truly understand what is happening, we need to step back and look at the structure behind the updates. Every major criminal case follows a recognizable pattern. First comes an allegation or triggering event. Then law enforcement begins an investigation. If prosecutors determine there is enough evidence to proceed, formal charges are filed. After that, the case moves into hearings, motions, and pretrial proceedings before any potential trial. Each of these stages carries a different legal meaning. When charges are filed, it does not mean guilt has been proven. It means prosecutors believe there is probable cause, a reasonable basis to proceed. That threshold is significantly lower than what is required to convict someone at trial. For a conviction, the standard is beyond a reasonable doubt, which is the highest burden of proof in the legal system. This distinction is crucial. Public reaction often treats a charge as a conclusion. Legally, it is only the beginning. Another important part of the process involves pretrial motions. These are formal legal arguments made by the prosecution or defense. They can challenge evidence, question how it was obtained, request dismissal of certain claims, or shape what the jury will ultimately see and hear. In many cases, these procedural battles are just as significant as the trial itself. They determine what information is admissible and how the case will be framed in court. When analyzing patterns in high-profile cases like this one, three key moments typically drive public attention. First, the announcement of charges. Second, the release of major evidence or court documents. Third, significant rulings from a judge. These spikes in attention can create the impression that the case is accelerating rapidly. In reality, the legal timeline often stretches across months or even years. Court systems are designed for thoroughness, not speed. There is also the factor of polarization. In high-visibility cases, public opinion often divides along political, cultural, or generational lines. That division can shape media narratives and online discussion. However, it does not influence the evidentiary standards required inside a courtroom. Courts rely on documentation, sworn testimony, and established rules of procedure, not trending reactions. Another key insight in cases like this is the difference between incomplete information and confirmed facts. Early in a legal process, many details remain sealed, disputed, or under review. As filings are released and hearings occur, the narrative can evolve. Initial assumptions may shift as new evidence is introduced or legal arguments clarify the scope of the case. That is why live updates matter. They provide incremental clarity. Each court document becomes a data point that moves the story from speculation toward verification. There is also a broader institutional lens to consider. High-profile legal cases often extend beyond the individuals involved. They can influence conversations about oversight, accountability, or policy reform. In some instances, they prompt changes within organizations connected to the case. In others, they simply reinforce existing legal standards. At its core, the Nancy Guthrie case reflects how the justice system balances transparency with due process. It shows how public interest interacts with legal procedure, and it highlights the gap between how fast information travels and how methodically the law operates. The most important takeaway is this: the courtroom functions on evidence, not emotion. Charges are not convictions. Allegations are not verdicts. And updates are not conclusions. As the case continues, the clearest understanding will come not from headlines alone, but from verified court filings, judicial decisions, and the structured progression of the legal process itself. Complex legal stories are rarely about a single moment. They are about procedure, proof, and time. And understanding that framework is the key to interpreting developments responsibly and clearly.